Alright, hello everyone, Simon here. We have another episode of Minecraft Design School, and today we have a world submitted by John David Gray. Actually, I don't know if he wants me to say his full name, but that's his name on YouTube as well, I think. So if he replies to the video, we'll see it anyway. So John has, I think he sent me basically his Minecraft autobiography. I think this is basically like all his builds. I think he put all his builds into the same map. So the message, he's got a big long a piece for us to read, and he's divided them into all of his little projects. So let's start with his introduction. He says, "This took a bit longer to get together than I anticipated. What you will see is a collection of builds copied in via MC Edit in chronological order." Yeah, so it's basically in chronological order a number of builds that he has copied in from other maps, right? He says, "I set the spawn where the beacon is located, so if for some reason you don't start there, alright, we're starting at the beacon, that's cool. After this introduction, I will have a questions section for common questions I'm asking across all the builds. After that, I have divided each section to correspond to different servers and maps. My general build style tends towards what I hope to represent realistic buildings, though they tend to stay fairly consistent." Alright, so he's trying to be realistic. Let's keep that in mind. Alright, let's just keep that in mind. So he tends towards realism. Most questions will be for homes I've built, though there are a few non-home buildings I'm curious about as well. One of my main goals beyond structure has been to go for mob-proof design. With one exception, Alright, so there's the realism and then there's the mob proofing, which is like the two separate things. Because mobs in Minecraft aren't realistic at all, right? They're zombies and creepers and giant spiders. So mob proofing, realism, and then he says, "If you have any questions, I'd be glad to leave a comment in the video answering them. That's cool." And then there's some biomes. And so he says common questions is how realistic is the structure and the roof? And he says, how efficient is the interior? What improvements can be made? And what are the most important things to take away for future builds? I think I'll just talk about those things regardless. So let's just try and keep those in mind. And let's start. Let's walk. Because if we're talking about realism, then we don't fly unless you're Superman. And he's made the sword not cut anything. That's kind of helpful. Follow the beach. Alright, so we're just going to follow these. Ignore the outside of the house, never finished it, especially the roof. Well, I'm going to look at the roof anyway. You'll be surprised that it's not actually that, bad. So there are actual box houses in real life. Oh look, there's a... We can't go to the nether. I don't think we're supposed to go to the nether. What do we have? Punchwood Island, section of notes. Alright, let me just scroll down a little bit. Should I walk through first or read first? Let me just walk through and have a look first, and then we'll read. That's like a torch on his head. Alright, so we have a house here. Let's see. 4 meters floor to ceiling. Kitchen. And dining. A large space that doesn't really do anything here. And then study. Oh, it's a bedroom slash everything else. So bedroom and workshop. What is that? Oh, is this like a chest? Ooh, loot. I see. So there's the secret stash. And then down in the basement we have storage and furnacing facilities and a dock under the house. That's pretty cool. Reminds me a little bit of Venice, because Venice is on the water, right? Everything is next to canals. So underneath the houses you'd have like little docks. And you can go out to the canals by the boats. So it reminds me a little bit of that. Brewing stand's meant to go here. Alright, cool. So storage and things, and oh look, there's stuff across the water. Alright, cool. So this is like I guess this is like his first house or something. Quite practical. If a little bit square. Is this like a dog sauna? Or like a dog bathhouse? That's kind of funny. Alright, so there's this house, which is fine. He says don't look at the roof. I want to look at the roof. Let's see the roof. Oh, hey look, that's the switches for the lights underneath. And those as well. Flat roof, which sometimes happens. Some modernist architecture actually looks like this. Not that practical, because usually you want eaves to keep the rain off your walls. Like if you don't have eaves, then the rain would just kind of wash down the walls, and it's a lot more prone to leaking because there's just a lot more water hitting your walls. So not having eaves is not all that practical, but it happens. Sometimes people do that because they like the boxes. So we got various animals, and then there's a thing there too. So there's a barn. This is the barn, I guess, where the animals are. More storage, and I'm guessing this is where the animals are cooked, which is a little bit terrifying for these guys. Let's see the columns. All right, got large timber columns. All right, cool. Does this count as well? This appears to be a greenhouse. All right, there's a greenhouse with wheat in it. That's cool. Wheat usually, in real life, you wouldn't need to put wheat in a greenhouse because wheat is actually quite robust and they'll grow quite well. So a greenhouse usually would be used for things that are more fragile. Things like tomatoes would be in the greenhouses. Are we supposed to go in here as well? I hear chickens. I think this is... Oh, hey, chickens. Alright, we have a chicken house in here. And they can't fly. And they can't... Can they climb ladders? Anyway, alright, so there's chickens down there. And, alright, I guess this is the first build. Alright, let's read what he has to say about it. He says, this map was created years ago, before PSJ joined Minecraft, if you know what that means. It is the creation of a map based on a specific seed, Punchwood Island I think, not quite sure though. Though if created after a certain version, would no longer spawn this island. Yeah, so the it was before a change in the map generation algorithms. I played this map in my early YouTube career, though off-camera only. I used Mises 64x64 realistic texture pack, which included connected textures. Multiple crafting tables, for example, would look like a single desk. That influenced some of the design. Alright, so we're not using that texture pack, so maybe it looks a bit weird because of that. I've never actually got the house done as I had started to record survival multiplayer. Quick note, I discontinued making videos for the YouTube channel I'll be referencing throughout these builds. For this first house, please ignore the roof question. The advantage here is you can see how I did some of the lighting more easily. I built this house from the inside out, starting with the bedroom, a style of building I wonder if it would be worth mixing back in. Probably yes. I also have the same questions regarding the barn, as I've never built one before, nor do I think I've been able to get the specifics down. Height is 2 levels, width, depth, those are concerns of mine when building. And I can't quite get it consistently right, either too big or too small. I don't know, it seems fine to me. Only this first one feels right, but only in this setting. Okay. Bonus, check the wood chest in the bedroom, the map is that old. Oh, wait a minute. This is my most explored map, though not my first map. This is the second map I actually played a significant time on. To proceed to the next section, alright, take a boat. Alright, so what is he asking? Is he talking about realism? He's talking about roof. I mean, the barn has a pretty good curve on the roof of the barn. The thing is, I mean, the thing I would say first is that the fact that there's only one material makes things look a bit odd. Surprisingly, this doesn't look odd. I know you keep saying that you didn't finish the roof, and don't look at the roof. But if we look at this kind of... this doesn't actually look odd because it's like one of these minimalist, modernist buildings that's just a box with one material. And some people like to do that, I'm not really sure why. I guess, if sometimes it looks kind of cool just to have like this monolithic box. So this actually looks right. Like this actually looks plausible in real life, whereas the barn, surprisingly, given that you've did a better job with the roof, it doesn't actually look right because the materials are not right. Because you'd have eaves, and you might have a different material for the roof as opposed to the walls and things like that. And maybe the columns would be logs instead of planks. But that's just the materials thing. If you just look at the shape, I think it looks fine. I mean, the thing is, it also doubles as a animal enclosure in the game, right? And so you have to make it work for the animals. I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, I would use more than one material, but aside from that, I don't see anything wrong with it at all. Let me just go back to the questions. What improvements? And he talks about having trouble with sizes of things. But he thinks that this one seems right. I think this is right. Maybe a little wide, but I don't think that's a problem. I don't know. This seems fine to me. Yeah, I would just use a few more materials. Maybe have eaves on the side. That's about it. All right, let me just check his chest in the bedroom. He talks about this being an old map. Is this like a? Oh yeah, I got one of these too. So this would be back. Yeah, I have one of these too. So this is a really old map because we've got one of these glitched slabs, right? That don't exist anymore. Don't have too much to say. I think what we should do is just kind of go forward and see how he improves, because this is like his first build, and maybe we can, like, it might be redundant to give advice on the first build because it might improve anyway. So it's like we'll be telling him stuff that he already knows. So which way am I going? Take the boat from the basement. Turn to the east. Turn to the east. This is one of my. We're facing east, but there's that and there's that. All right, let me just come over here. Is this the same build, or is this like a? Let me just see if there's a sign somewhere. No, chicken, get out of the way, chicken. All right, we just need to smash our way. Smash our way. I don't. You jump in. All right, and the boat's gone. Why can't you just get off the boat onto land? Somebody asked Notch. LP craft section of notes. Alright, so this is the next part. The farm has become slightly fancier. Is that meant to be like that? It's not, right? Or is it meant to be like that? That seems like the strangest thing. Why would that be? That's not supposed to, is that supposed to be like that? Anyway, so he's got a farm here with different things. Alright, that's all cool. Wait a minute, you have diamond picks and shovels for your farming. So this is a super flat map, I guess, because it's super flat, like there's no terrain. So let's look at his houses. So his house. So now it's just, you see how I was saying earlier. Well, maybe you should use more than one material, and then lo and behold, the next house we see, he's using more than one material. So it's like, there's kind of maybe not too much point giving advice on the earliest build because it's stuff that he's figured out already. Still no eaves though. That's still slightly strange. Although there is like a porch. Is this the back or the front? I can't tell. There is a porch which is nice. If you want to talk about real life architecture, like porches, usually you find porches in climates where it's hot and humid, and so you want to keep the sun off the walls of your house to keep the house cool, but then you want it to be relatively open so that the wind will come through your house and cool the house. And so in hot, humid climates, you'll find large overhanging eaves and really kind of open walls, so large windows and doors, but covered by the eaves, so that the wind can go through and cool the house down. So this sort of thing you'd find in hot, humid climates. I guess in the American South, you see this. In Australia, you kind of see this, although Australia is not that humid, but still it's pretty hot. So yeah, so that sort of thing. Inside, ooh, look at this wool. Fancy multicolored wool. It's a little small though, isn't it? 2.5 meters floor to ceiling. I mean, this is the sort of, it's sort of right in real life. Like the house I'm living in right now is like 2.5 meters floor to ceiling. But the thing is, you're kind of tall in Minecraft. Like you are literally 2 meters tall in Minecraft. Where's my buttons? Uh, oops, that's not it. Where's my buttons? Okay, so like I'm like 2 meters tall or like 1.95. Oh crap! What did I? Oh, I'm flying. Yeah, so the Minecraft dude is actually really tall, and so it feels really odd to have 2.5 meters floor to ceiling, even though it's realistic. It feels too small in the game. It's not a big deal though. What's going on here? Oh, it's a ender chest. There's a bed, a bit of crafting, and various lounge and dining. Alright, lounge and dining, and then a ladder. No stairs. Oh, and lights. Alright. Lights and materials. Alright, no, that's alright. Storage. So this is like the attic, right? So this sort of thing is like it feels right. Like if you just look at the measurements, it feels like it should be the right size for a house in real life. But a lot of times, not just in Minecraft, but in all video games, if you make things the right size, they feel too small. It's just one of these things in video games. Maybe it's because you're looking at a screen and you're not looking all around you. Like maybe if you have Oculus Rift or something and you're actually looking around you, then it won't feel too small. But it's one of these things that game designers know that if you make things the right size in a video game, it will feel too small. So usually when you play a video game, things are a little bit oversized. Everything's just a little bit bigger than it should be because it feels right. And I think it's because you're looking through a computer screen into this world, and so therefore everything looks smaller than it actually is, right? So there's one house, a pretty simple one. This is a second house. So he's got some eaves going on here, some giant log columns. That's kind of cool. So got eaves at the top, but not at the sides. Oh, this is really interesting. Look at this. So you got like bay windows, really large windows. So this is like a mansion, right? Cool. Mansion, stone bricks, and logs. It's a little bit odd because the stone bricks are stronger than the logs. So it's like, what is providing the structure? Like if you imagine this is a real house, and I understand that you probably use a texture pack, so it might look different with the texture pack. But a stone bricks, a wall made of stone bricks is stronger than the log columns. So then it's like structurally the columns are redundant, although decoratively they look quite good. So that's just something that if you look at it, it looks a little bit weird. Whereas if it's not stone bricks in here, if it's planks in here, then it would make a little more sense structurally because then the columns are actually stronger than the planks, and so the columns hold up the roof and the walls, and then the planks fill in the spaces in between. Then structurally it makes sense because you have something strong holding up something weak. Whereas here it looks like you have something weak holding up something strong, which is a bit strange, right? Again, not a big deal, especially not in Minecraft, and especially if you're using a texture pack that makes it look different. That might be something quite it might look quite different if I wasn't using this texture pack. And if you have connected textures, then the windows will look better too, right? Okay, let's go inside. Oh, this is a massive storage. Look at it. It's got books and chests everywhere. Storage building. All right, well, that's what it is. Curious you don't put the sign out here. But this is the storage building, and it is indeed full of storage. I like this though. You put the chest end on so that you save space in the corridors. More chests per corridor length. Workspace and end the things. And I guess there's 2 stories to this. Alright, ground floor and then the second floor is up there. That's kind of cool too, like the fact that your windows span 2 floors. That's kind of cool. Just so that, from the outside, everything looks more monumental because it looks like this is giant building. But then on the inside, it's 2 stories, and therefore you're not wasting space. I like that. That's pretty cool. Alright, so interior not too interesting, mostly just efficient storage. The outside looks kind of good. I like how this looks. Oh, roofs. Do we care about the roofs? I've been walking a lot. It did ask specifically about the roofs. That looks fine, especially since you leave space underneath the roof for the storage in the attic. This one, yeah, that's fine. I don't see any problem with it. I do like eaves. Eaves are just friendly, because imagine if it's raining. Like having eaves on the side of the house just means that when it's raining, you don't get rained on. Like you have a thing covering your head, and so it's just friendlier. Like the house is just, oh, it's raining. Let me shelter you from this little bit of rain. So it's just a friendlier house if it has eaves that shelter you from the rain when it rains. So like if you're walking down the street and there's like an overhang, and maybe if it's too sunny, or then it provides shade. If it's raining, then it provides shelter. It's just a friendlier building, you know what I mean? So I like eaves. Not that it matters too much in Minecraft. Alright, let's read his questions on the LP craft section. I think he's got other stuff back there too. Maybe I should. Alright, let's start from the top. This section is the creative superflat world I used to build and test in some time after I had quit playing on Punchwood Island. The small farm is where I tested fortune and tool usage. I have a book with my notes from the time in a chest. This section won't include the actual final build, but the test builds before doing the final builds in survival. Unfortunately, this skips my build in a very short-lived Grasscraft server and begins with Eldercraft, which later renamed to LPcraft. Alright. Build 1, Season 1. The house. This was the base design for my house on the server, which I have referenced many times since. Here I had started to use birch planks because they kind of look like vinyl siding. Yeah, okay, I see it. If you use your imagination, and maybe if you use a texture pack. Oak for the floor and spruce for the roof. I have for a long time placed cobble as the foundation, extending it as far below the house as the terrain would otherwise show dirt or stone, usually up to 1.5 floors. Cobble is a pretty good foundation material, just from a architectural history perspective. Like if you go back to Renaissance Italian architecture, usually their palazzos will have like several layers, and the bottom ones are more rustic, and then the top ones are more refined, so that the bottom would be like cobble, right? And then the second story would be like stone bricks, and then the upper story might be smooth stone, just in Minecraft terms. So it's kind of rougher at the bottom and more refined at the top. And the idea is that it just kind of gets more refined as you go up. So just from an architectural history point of view, having kind of cobble at the bottom reflects that history, even if you don't realize it. You just you put the rough stuff close to the ground, and then as you get higher and higher up, things become more and more smoothly cut and more refined. He also says no mob except now cave spiders can gain access to the porch, and not even Enderman can teleport inside the house. That's why the roof space is 2.5 instead of 3. Alright, so that's for monster proofing. I could AFK for days and stay safe, 2.5 block max height except the ladder to the attic. This didn't really leave any room for stairs or such, though I did manage a stairway in Season 3. Variations of this house persist even today, though with minor improvements along the way. Alright, so some of this is restricted by the need to monster proof this house, I see. And if we go inside, let me just have a look at that again. So, alright, so things can't get in except cave spiders, which is a bit of a shame. Can cave spiders get in here? I thought the fences were 1.5 blocks. Can cave spiders really fit inside half a block of height? That's kind of awkward. Alright, so this is mostly mob proof. Nothing can get in here. And can Enderman teleport in here, given that there's a ladder block on the way? I'm not sure. Alright, so that's cool. So it's monster proof. So moving on to build 2, season 3. He says the storage building, the large building in the back, I'm skipping out of order here season-wise because build 3 is unrelated to build 2 and it will be easy to continue from there to the next section. This was the community storage building I had built the final season of LP Craft as storage organization was my specialty. It's a mostly square-shaped building, with which I had no idea what to do with the roof. It looks pretty good. This isn't the original roof, but it is better than what it was. I'm still not pleased with it. I have also updated the glowstone to sea lanterns. In the final build upstairs, I had the jack-o'-lanterns facing the opposite direction so you could not see the face. It felt like they matched the wood better than the glowstone. My main question here are for the roof and the staircase. Okay, well, let's have a look at this again. I don't see what the problem with the roof is. Yeah, really, I don't see what the problem with the roof is. Unless you want to make it, not the sloping roof, but like a flat roof. The other thing you might want to do is like put a parapet. Put a parapet and then have a kind of flat roof behind it. I mean, there's really not that many options for roofs. Or you can do like a Greek temple. Doesn't really make sense though because it's not purely rectangular and the Greek temple thing. You can do the Greek temple thing, or you can do like a kind of a square thing with a parapet and then the roof behind the parapet. I don't see any problem with it. I don't see any problem with the roof. I don't know what the question is, except that creepers can spawn up here. Aside from that, I don't see the problem with it. Eaves? Maybe given that the staircase is like a distinctive thing, maybe have the roof more emphasize the fact that the staircase tower thing is separate from the main structure. I don't know. I don't really have too much to say. I think it looks okay to me. Like, do you mean this stuff? Like, do you mean how this stuff is like you're trying to fit curvy shapes into Minecraft blocks, and that's always going to be difficult. I don't see the problem. I don't see the problem. I think this looks fine. I mean I like eaves, but I don't think there's a problem here. That's slightly odd. The fact that there's stone there and there's logs there. Why don't you just continue the logs there as well? Not sure. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see anything too bad about it. The staircase is sufficient. Let's see. So there's a kind of a space underneath the stairs. Staircase looks fine except this, I guess. I mean, you didn't give yourself enough space for the staircase because this. Can we just? How difficult would it be to? Because what we can just do is if we just do that and then put that there instead. We can just do that, and then you can walk all the way up without any trouble. Except now this is a bit weird. I mean, if we I don't know. Maybe I think you just need more space for the staircase. I think it's just one of these things where you didn't actually leave yourself enough space, which happens. It happens a lot. It's not something that only you do. It's just something you have to practice until you get better at it. Yeah, no. It's. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can tweak, of course. Like you say, maybe you can tweak the roof a little bit. Maybe you can tweak the staircase a little bit. I mean, overall, I think it's perfectly functional. The way I look at design and architecture is sometimes instead of just tweaking your buildings forever and ever, sometimes it's more productive just to move on to the next build and build something else and just kind of Because every time you build something, you learn, right? So if you're tweaking little things, you're learning little things. Whereas if you build a whole new thing, then you're learning a big new thing. And so sometimes it's just more productive to just, don't worry about it too much and just build the next thing. So you're not spending a lot of time doing things that don't really matter too much. Like, you can, yeah, you can fix the stairs, you can fix the roof, but it doesn't matter that much. You know what I mean? So that's my attitude towards design, and sometimes you just have to let it go and move on to the next project. I don't see anything too bad about this. I really don't. Except I like eaves. Alright, so there's the build 3 as well. Let me just walk through it before we read about it. So this is a separate build, and there's like a collection of trees up there. That's kind of cool. So this house is raised off the ground. It's like a little container. Alright, there's a giant arrow. It's like a container raised above the ground. Um, Looks like a prefab unit, doesn't it? That's like a prefabricated unit. So sometimes what you would do in real life is that you would build the entire house off site, and then you put it on the back of the truck, and then you truck it to the site, and you just kind of put it onto the site. So the advantage of doing that is that you can build the house in a factory, and so then if it rains, like if you're building a house on site and it rains, we can't work in the rain. Or if it's on site and then there's a storm, then everything's get messed up. So if you can build in a factory, then it doesn't matter whether it's day or night, or if it's raining or whatever. You can just kind of build the whole thing, and you put the whole thing on the back of a truck and you ship it out to the site and you just drop it down. And so the time you spend on site is like a few days at most. So that's the advantage of prefab. The disadvantage is that because the truck has a limited size, you can't have a massive house. So the prefab units are always kind of boring and rectangular and small. So that's why this reminds me of like a prefab unit. So on site you just build a foundation, and then you just kind of truck in this rectangular box and you just kind of put it on the foundations. So that's kind of funny. So all right. So it's a small house, just like a prefab. Just that's kind of funny. So a small, functional, quite practical house. And then, is this a thing? Is this something I need to look at, or is this? Let me just read the sign here. This is Transcendent Section. Alright, this is a different place. So the third build is only this prefab house. I'm going to call it the prefab house. Alright, so he says, let me just scroll down a bit. Build 3, the mobile home workhouse. Yeah, so as he says, it's a mobile home. So it is a prefab. So and that's good because I could see it without you explaining it to me. So even without the explanation, I can tell that it's like a prefab house. So this was my temporary spawn house on the map for safety, and soon after became something of a workhouse. I could tear apart, move, and rebuild all within one inventory space. Oh, nice. With room for normal gear. Silk touch pickaxe required. Alright. The version I built on the server had a back door to it as well. This is actually based on my Season 1 second spawn house. I repurposed my original spawn house as a shop and built a mobile home behind it. It is fairly difficult to use more than one wood type here, and in my area I associate mobile homes with white light colors, but a dark roof. Again, hard to use more than one color, and this setup is also designed to be truly mobile. My main question here involved the super small scale and space limitations. Well, that's exactly how mobile homes are. I mean, in Minecraft you made it so that you can move the entire thing just in your inventory. Well, not this one, just in your inventory. And yeah, and in real life, a mobile home is also quite small and quite cheap. I mean, for lack of a better description, I mean they're small and portable and cheap. So nothing wrong with that at all. If you've allowed yourself the luxury of a separate room, a separate bedroom already. So I feel like it's already more luxurious than just like a purely functional house. Although I guess this is also part of it, isn't it? All right, so there's like a house and also this, so the little workshop, the side. The super small scale and space limitations, yeah. But that's your theme. Like you've chosen to build a mobile home, and a mobile home is small with limited space. And the trick, of course, is to make the most use out of your limited space. And that in itself is a design challenge. Of course, everybody is impressed by giant buildings and giant monumental things, but designing small things is often it's got its own difficulty because you're trying to fit things into a small space. Yeah, and as I said, you've allowed yourself the luxury of like benches and chairs, which don't. I mean, you don't. Chairs don't really function in the game, right? It's purely an aesthetic thing in the game. So do you have everything? You have a furnace, you have that, you have another furnace there, right? Furnace, storage, cauldron. Well, I guess you don't have like what's it called? The brewing stands and other things. Not that it matters. Doesn't really matter too much. No, I like it. I like it. Like it's more practical. It's small, it's practical, and it's functional. I like it. And given the limitations of fitting it all into one inventory, I think you've done really well. Although, could you not have used oak for the roof as well? Because I mean I'm not counting the blocks here, but you do have oak slabs, right? Yeah, you have oak slabs. If you wanted a different color for the roof, which might make sense, why couldn't you have had like an oak roof? I know the floor is oak, but I think I don't know. I don't know. Just it's purely aesthetic reasons. Doesn't really make any difference. No, I like it. I like it. Small and practical. Yeah, and as I said, sometimes being efficient is more important than being epic and awesome, right? Super small scale and space limitations. A surprising amount of non-functional luxury things given your brief, though. If your brief is to design a kind of really small house, it is multiplayer, right? It's a multiplayer map. I guess having a bit of this stuff allows a bit of space for other people to come in and visit. Yeah, I find this curious because that is non-functional in the game. I find that curious. Anyway, let's move on. So the next one appears to be a house with a really fancy garden. Alright, so we've got an elaborate entryway, I guess. You have to go all the way around. I like this though, like the house behind the trees. It's good to see consideration for the landscape as well as the house. Vash the Stampede, 240 East Cobble Street. Private property. So I guess this is a part of a city, right? I'm guessing this is part of a city and that the server had enough people with enough urban design sensibilities to actually build a town. Alright, so you have a farm at the back and colorful horses and pigs and cows. Awesome. That's the back door. Let's go in the front door. This is jungle wood? Or is that acacia? Oh, I think this is acacia. Jungle wood is... no, yeah, orange is acacia. Oh, wait a minute. There's a switch. I don't need to do that. Huh. So, let's see. Kitchen and dining? Or is that lounge? Community tree farm donation chest. Need a glowstone, redstone for lamps. Alright, so there's that, and then there's a bedroom. Great. Again, I guess this is the Enderman proofing. Not too sure how I feel about the 2.5 meter height. But yeah, I mean it is Enderman proofing. And more proofing. Okay, cool. So there's a house. I mean if it was part of a city, I'd be I'm kind of sad that we don't get to see the city, because there's roads outside, so I'm assuming that it would be. Alright, so this is the Transcendence section. Actually, do we include the next stuff? Do we include this stuff? No, this is a different build. Alright, I'm gonna stick with this. So, John says, this is my spawn house pulled directly from the map download provided when the server moved to Season 2. LP Craft migrated at the end of Season 3 to merge with Transcendence, but when Transcendence moved to modded for Season 2, I and some others left. This is my spawn house, set in a savanna biome. I built one of the first houses to the back end of spawn, which had no direct road at the time. Among other things, I expanded the road, built this house, and a tree farm before leaving spawn to work on my base. I ended up having difficulty with new members, hence the private property signs all around my house. I actually had to make a few minor repairs from the map download. Well, it's if it's a public server and you need a spawn, griefing happens. And that's Minecraft for you. Ignoring that, this is the first one to actually show a mailbox. My other mailbox design is a chest on a fence post with a sign with my username nickname. My former username was VashTS, right? Hence the name on the mailbox. I would not reveal my new name channel as I wish to keep anonymity from my old name channel. Really? It's that bad? You have to hide your identity? Okay. I mean, I don't know. Minecraft, man. The house is based on the mobile home design you just finished looking at, except instead of single wide, I designed this to be double wide. I gave it the increased 0.5 block headspace as my LP Craft Season 1 house, but left it a one-story. Acacia was the common wood type, so that became the material for it, and I think it turned out fairly nice. I also messed around with a less steep roof design. This house also shows a back door, back porch. I started using occasionally since LP Craft Season 2 and my first refrigerator design. Because of a very constant problem of people not closing fence gates, I added pressure plates to do that for them. Mob proof, I couldn't do that with the back door as I placed my door so that when they open, they look closed. That's curious. Alright, let's just double check that. So there's a mailbox. Right? And then there's this. And, alright, so it's like his other home, but 2 units wide. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I couldn't do it here because... Oh, I see. This is closed, that is open. Well, if you just make the porch like 2 blocks bigger, then you can put a pressure plate there. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Yeah, there's no secrets though. So yeah, this house is definitely not griefer proof, which you kind of rely on the mods and admins of a server to deal with griefers. All right, well, it's a bit of a shame that didn't really turn out as well as one might hope. Anything else for us to say? Not really. The acacia trees look nice. As you say, the wood looks like. He said a flatter roof. Well, it actually, it goes well with the biome because the plains biome is quite dry, right? Is it plains, savanna? No, the savanna biome is quite dry. And so, in real life, you have sloping roofs to make sure the rain that falls on your roof doesn't stay there, right? So it runs off the sides. But in places where it doesn't rain all that much, the roofs tend to be flatter because there's really not that much need to run the water off quickly. Whereas in colder climates, especially like in Northern Europe, for example, or in Russia, the roofs will be really steep so that the snow don't accumulate on the roof. So the snow falls off the steep roofs. So in dry savanna type climates in real life, the building roofs will usually be flatter because there's less rain. So that fits well again with the biome. And I don't know if you had that in mind or if it just looks nice to you. But yeah, it actually fits the concept. Again, eaves, I would prefer to have eaves. In hot climates, again, because you don't want the sun shining on your walls, because then that would heat up the house. So you want to keep the sun off the walls, and so you have eaves to kind of provide shade around the house. But aside from that, again, a decent house. A decent house. I think it looks alright. Alright, so we're moving on to the next one. So see, the steeper roof implies more rain in real life. Live stream section of notes. Okay. Curious. So we have farm. Where's the water? Oh, the water's underneath here, I see. We have a farm, we have a mine. Mine, I guess it goes nowhere, right? Does it actually go nowhere, or does it go... I shouldn't be coming down here, it's kind of a waste of time, right? It actually goes... nowhere, alright. I don't know why I came down here. So there's a mine, which, you know, of course, we are playing Minecraft. Of course you have a mine. Was this... That's the house, isn't it? Where do we come from? Here. Alright, we have a mine, and then we have a number of houses. Or is that a different thing? That's a different thing. Alright, so there's one house, and there's a mine. Cobble roof is quite strange. Because cobble is loose, right? And so it doesn't really stick on a sloping roof very often. So that's a bit strange for the material. Let's see. We're still Enderman proof. Although this doesn't seem quite as cramped. Maybe it's because there's less furniture. Feels more open. Alright, and then we have storage. This is not Enderman proof. What's going on here? And then this goes to the mine, alright. This seems quite... Why can't I... Wait a minute. Why can't I... Is this just me, or is this Minecraft? I can't actually get out? Like this? Alright, I'm just gonna fly. No, alright, so this is kind of simple though. Is this like a hardcore survival or something? Because it seems like you put less work into this one. Alright, let's look at this. I didn't get very far with live streaming before giving it and YouTube up for a few months. This house world never made it very far, but the key change here is the cobblestone roof. I saw this used on a house on Transcendence and wanted to give it a try. Okay, well, so he didn't actually go very far with this particular build, and you can tell because there's not much here. Cobblestone roof, unless you're using a texture pack that makes sense, I don't think it's a good idea, because it's not... I mean, unless you've got some sort of texture pack that makes the cobblestone look like tiles or something, or slate. Because cobblestone is not a roofing material. In real life, that is. I'm just talking about in real life. Cobblestone is not a roofing material because it's heavy and it's loose, right? If you have shingles or tiles, then the tiles interlock, right? Or the slate, they kind of like a slate roof is like fish scales, right? They kind of overlap each other and then they form a roof. Cobble doesn't really work unless you have a texture pack that makes sense. It looks really weird to me. It looks really, really weird to me. So I don't know how you feel about it. You don't actually say whether you like it or not. But there you go. You tried it, and I don't know. I don't really have much to say. All right. So this particular build didn't go very far. Let's move on to the next one. Realms section of notes. All right. So he moves on to Minecraft realms, and there's a number of houses, or is that a barn? Still no eaves. See, you never picked up on putting eaves on your buildings. It makes me sad. I do like eaves. Alright, let's switch out the sword. This is the back door, right? Where's the... Is this the back door or the front door? Okay, this is the back door. This is the front door, right? Let's go in the front door. Lounge and kitchen. There's no dining. Is there no dining? There's no dining. Alright, lounge and kitchen. And we have a bedroom. Nice view though. Did it? Oh, well, actually no, this is copy and pasted from Enderman. Bro, no, get out. What are you even doing, stupid Enderman? Stop. Anyway. That's so stupid, just walking into the water. Alright, so this is, I like this view. I don't know if this is how it was on your server, but you know, looking out into the ocean, that's kind of good. Is that thing just walking into the water over and over again? Is that what he's doing? I hate Endermen so much. Alright, so there's a bedroom with a nice view, and then there's... Really? It connects out to the ocean? What is this, for fishing? What is this? Oh, this is probably like a fishing thing, alright. And then stairs, really small stairs though. That's okay. So underneath here, a different material, cobble and dark wood. We have, that's the mine, I guess. That's cool. And storage. And this goes to an underground farm, alright. That's cool. And then we have more underground farm. Are these things not growing or what is this? And then we have more underground farms. And then we have more underground farms. You can't actually get to the pumpkins at the back without breaking the pumpkins at the front. And then more underground farms and a giant cave system. Alright. Very space efficient. Why underground farms? Did you not trust the other people on your server to take care of your farm? I mean, I do this sort of thing too on multiplayer. Like, put your farms underneath your house. Alright, so from the outside, it looks like a normal house. On the... Why? Wait a minute. Why are these things spawning? Is it even... It's normal difficulty. Why is there like a massive patch of creatures over there? Alright, so here we have a horse with armor. I'm sure your horses aren't quite that color, but my horses are those colors. And that armor looks good on that horse. Nothing else. One horse. No windows in the barn, neither? It looks kind of simple compared to your, your other barn and some of your earlier houses. Alright, let's see what you have to say about this one. The realms section. You say, along the way I decided that realms would be better to play Minecraft with my brother-in-law and my nephew. And so this is the first world I started. We are on our third world and I don't plan to reset it again. This is the only one with an outdoor building I can show, and it's kind of starts back towards larger and less mob-proof, although still mostly mob-proof. Somehow along the way I forgot how to properly do stairs. What I have in this house is not my proudest work, but it's not my worst either. The thing is, this is very shortly before giving up YouTube and coincides with the Phoenix server where I had a decent stairway. This also reintroduces the barn, although this is my 4th version. This house also features a fishing hole which requires a direct line of sight to the sky for best results. Yeah, I noticed, especially when raining. The jack-o'-lanterns were to be replaced with glowstone when I acquired enough or any and had it continued to 1.8 sea lanterns. A major reason this map didn't continue is on basement floors 2 and especially 3, a weird glitch is keeping the crops from growing, even though there is room. But if you remove some ceiling slabs, they grow. Feel free to test. Oh, I see. So there's the stuff's not growing. I was going to work the cave system into the base design. I mean that's I feel like that's stuff that you can, you know, change and adjust. I mean, you can just kind of make the basements bigger and give yourself more headroom. But anyway, the staircase is not your proudest design. Well, I mean, I can tell, and the answer is quite simple. There's not enough room. I mean, if you just give yourself more space to build a bigger staircase, then you can make it look better. And that's the whole secret. You know, if you want a good-looking staircase, it takes up a lot of room. If you just want something barely functional, then this is the smallest amount of room you can use, right? If you want anything that looks better than this, it takes up a lot of room. And that's all it is. That's all it is. How much space you give yourself to build the staircase. So if you make this like 3 times wider, it'll be amazing. You know, if you give yourself 3 times as much space, then the staircase would look great. That's all it is. And going back to the barn, so again, I think this house didn't really go very far. He talks about the resetting the world not too long afterwards. So, you know, again, I'm not gonna say too much about it, given that, you know, you didn't actually spend that much time building it. The barn, similar theme, although, like I said, you know, you use a different material for the roof this time, so it looks a little bit more convincing. No windows, though. I wonder about that. Alright, so moving on to the next one. This is the Patreon section of notes. Now that's an interesting house. So this is significantly different from all the previous houses. All the previous ones were pretty conventional, like a bungalow style, slope roof sort of things. This one is modernist, flat roof with quartz and clay, and looks quite interesting. Giant columns. This column is a bit weird, the way it sticks out like this. I see you've got this negative detail thing going on. I'm not sure why this column sticks out here and then this column is there. Like, you know, like if you do this, then the columns are kind of consistent, right? There's kind of like column, gap, wall, gap, column. And then like it's a little bit odd. I'm not sure what the scheme is you're trying to go for. Anyway, let's go inside. And 3 block floor to ceiling. Alright, we're not scared of Enderman anymore. Let's see, we have like a... Not sure what that room is. I guess that's the kitchen with a clock. And pantry. Nice. Or is it a fridge? And then we have a lounge. Cool. And so staircase. I mean, look, you give yourself a little bit more space and the staircase looks a bit better. It's really that simple. And then this is bedroom with armor and all sorts of banner and decorative things. Shower. Mirror. Cool. Nice. Alright, that's a pretty decent house. It's a lot of clay though. How did you... Is this creative? How do you get this much clay? I guess if you're near a... what are they called? What are those biomes called? I forgot what they're called. Never mind. Alright, looks good. Interesting. I mean, it's good to see... It's really good to see you kind of experimenting with something new, right? So, I like it. I like that. Because a lot of the previous houses, although you've kind of... You do kind of try different things with each house. They all feel like variations on a theme. So it's like, you know, you kind of worried that you're just doing the same thing over and over again. So it's nice to see that when you get to this point, you're just kind of doing something completely different. So then I can tell that you're gonna learn something new because of this, right? So let's read about what you have to say. This final section is actually a modern style house. Yeah, I can tell. Required build style for the city. Oh, I see. So it's not even your choice. They force you to build a modern house. For the Moonlight Patreon map. This is the first ever time I've built a house in this style, and the first house to include a bathroom. I switched the sinks to hoppers and the toilets to a cauldron. I made sure to keep a somewhat functional design in with the house as well as aesthetic. This is actually the end of what I provided on the map, following a brief description of what isn't on for one reason or another. Well, you say that this is the first kind of modern style house, and even then it's because the city that you built it for kind of had rules. I think you should do more of this. I don't know. I don't know if you just really like that kind of house, but but like my attitude is the more different things you try, the more you learn. And so I think it's fruitful to just aggressively and deliberately do things that you've never done before. Especially like if you're designing stuff in Minecraft. I mean, maybe in real life, like if you haven't jumped off a cliff before, maybe don't jump off a cliff. But in Minecraft, if you haven't built in a particular style before, then by all means try it out. Just try it out and see how it goes, because you only learn new things if you do new things. You know what I mean? And so when you design something new, you get new ideas and you get new kind of like you learn new things, and then a lot of times you will learn new things that you can then go back and apply to your old style. So just kind of going outside the box and doing new things, I think it's just always a good idea. Like always give yourself time and space to try out things you've never done before, because it's always a good learning experience, and you can always improve and just kind of get more knowledge that way. All right, let's read about what he has on other servers. So no more stuff for us to look at. So he says the Phoenix server, not actually on here as I somehow lost the map, but the house design I feel is one of my best. Oh great, we don't get to see it though. This is the server I played on at the end of or after Transcendence and before my hiatus from YouTube. The roof is similar to the double wide and has pressure plates to mask jack-o'-lanterns like the double wide. The fridge has iron doors with a birch door for the front. The doors to the basement are done too wide, with a single 90-degree turn and a 2x2 landing at that turn. There's no second floor. The bedroom is closed off, but the kitchen, dining room, living room, and foyer are all somewhat open. Partial walls at most, but very open floor design. The kitchen even has a pantry. The only hang-up is the front porch, which is very high up, extreme hills, and has an unusually long stairway to the ground. Still looks decent. I can rebuild from video and send the world file separate to you if you would like to see it for yourself. You know what I think you can do is, like, if you have a video, I mean, go ahead and link the video in the comments, or if you want to take screenshots, just kind of take screenshots and then link them in the comments, just so that if other people are interested to see the stuff, then they can just kind of click on the links and see some pictures of it, even if there's no map, right? So yeah, that'll be interesting. I think if you want to do that, just put some links in the comments. It sounds again. It sounds like you're going back to the kind of your previous theme, but making improvements to it. So the two wide stairs probably is a good idea with a 90-degree turn. It sounds like it sounds like you kind of, as you build more and more houses, like you're kind of thinking about how to make the staircase better, and so I can see that like your approach to this designing thing is like it's evolutionary, right? So each house is slightly different from your previous house, which is fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with kind of doing that sort of evolutionary step-by-step improvement from one build to the next. But again, I think there's also value in doing this just something completely different, just to free your mind a little bit and think outside the box a little bit. He also says Patreon servers, Spurncraft, house followed a similar design to LP Craft Season 1, Attic attic access is sneakier in that it uses trapdoors instead of ladders. Trapdoors serve a visual appeal and a secret function. Impulse SV patron server. House follows larger design of Punchwood Island and realms with a mix of various other designs and pre-planned usage of stairs. So like I can see, yeah, like as you say, you're kind of trying to solve the stair problem from one build to the next. Mount Woebegone. House again follows modern design, except limited to a long, narrow footprint for plot size. Again, pre-planned stairs. Cool, good. I mean, it sounds like you're kind of learning new things and trying new things out each time, and that's good. I mean that's really what I want to see is people learning and doing new things. And then finally he says, I feel like I'm always improving, and as long as I don't forget some things I've learned, everything will continue to get better. However, always getting the outside looking nice with enough room on the inside, a decent roof, and proper stairwells feels like a juggling act I can't always succeed with. That pretty much sums up architecture. I mean, if you want to ask what architecture is, it's basically juggling exterior, interior, circulation, useful spaces, and just kind of because that's what buildings are. Like you have a lot of things going on, and you have a lot of pieces to fit together into something that works, and and that's basically architecture. Yeah, and the thing is, in real life, you wouldn't just build one thing from scratch. Like you would plan, you would make drawings, like you would kind of work on the drawings, change it multiple times to try and fix problems, and then you would build the house. And so you did this, like in real life, you design a lot more than you design in Minecraft. In Minecraft, you just start building. So maybe that's something you want to do. So instead of just kind of building and then hoping it goes well, and then trying to juggle everything in your head as you build, maybe like plan it out before you start building. I don't know if you watch the way I build. A lot of times I would start drawing a plan with dirt or sand, like get some sand blocks and dirt blocks or something, and just start planning out spaces. And then I'd figure out the materials and then the exterior and then the interior details. So it's a little bit like making a drawing before building the house. So and it's a little bit like building two houses. So you kind of build it once in dirt and you build it again in the real thing. And so the idea is that the dirt one is not for real. It's just you kind of trying out your ideas, and then if it looks like it fits, then you move on to the real thing. And so that's just something you pick up if you do a lot of designing, whether it's architecture or any other sort of design work, or even just kind of painting or art, is that you don't ever just kind of do it once and expect it to be okay at the end. Like you always kind of you kind of plan your ideas, sketch it up, analyze it, and then maybe change the sketches and then kind of improve it a bit. And so you can always do things multiple times before you get to the final design. And you do that because every time you redo it, it's a little bit better because you can like, solve more problems every time you do it. So maybe that's something you might want to try doing. I don't know how you approach designing. I don't know if you just kind of start building and then you finish and then that's your house. That's something that you usually see people do if they haven't got a lot of design training or design experience. It's just to kind of build it and then that's it. So maybe try that. Maybe just try. And if you don't want to do it on, I mean, it's kind of time consuming on survival, but if you just want to try it out in creative mode and just kind of try sketching things out before you build it for real, it might actually help. It might actually help. A lot of times you'd see me do it. Just kind of plan it out in dirt and before going into the real thing. And, in between the dirt one and the real one, I fix problems, as I say. What else do you say? You say, one of the biggest questions I have, what advice can you give to balance everything out? Now that you've seen most of my typical build style, how can I improve on roof design, especially on awkward corners or diagonals? None of the builds shown really showcases this, but it is perhaps one of my greatest weaknesses and tend to limit me to less round or diagonal-sided builds. Extra note, this is pretty much only outdoor build styles, not built into the wall build styles. So, I mean, roofs, again, I don't really know what else for me to say. I mean, I don't see anything wrong. Aside from the lack of eaves, I keep saying that. Aside from the lack of eaves and just the lack of overhangs, I don't see anything wrong with the roofs. Well, I mean, the other thing you might want to do is just go to Google. Let me just try this before I suggest it. Let me just go to my. So let me just type in roof into Google image search, and then go to images. There's a cow on a roof. What? Not that useful. Maybe just type in famous buildings that you know about, and then just look at the roofs. I mean, they're not that special. Maybe just kind of find a picture of a roof, of an interesting roof, or like find a picture of an interesting building that you know about, and then just try to copy it. I mean, sometimes people don't like the idea of copying. They think, oh, it's just copying other people. It's not original. It's not my own work. Well, you can learn a lot from copying. Of course, it's not your work, but just from doing something that you see other people do, you actually learn a lot from doing that. So maybe just kind of get a picture of a roof, look at it really closely, and then try to copy it. And maybe that's what you need to do to learn. As for how to juggle the different things, as I said, maybe try planning it out. Just kind of planning out your building before building it, and even just building it twice or building it 3 times before finalizing it. Because that's what real designers do. Aside from that, it's just practice. Mostly, it's just practice. What else? All right, that's it. That's all the questions. I think that's it. I hope that's been useful. I hope that's. I really don't. Maybe you can try to explain in more detail what you don't like about your roofs. Like this is kind of complicated. That looks fine to me. That's fairly simple. I guess most of these roofs are kind of simple. That looks fine to me. They all look fine to me, except for the lack of eaves. I mean, even this one. This is the most complicated one, right? That looks fine to me. I don't really see what the problem is. How can I improve on roof design, especially on awkward corners? I guess what you mean is this. Now, this is like an awkward corner. I would... Let me just try this. I keep saying eaves and I never actually show you. What if we just... Oops. What if we just do that? What if... Maybe that. What if we just stick things out a little bit? What if we... Sticking things out a little bit more. Oops. That's a little bit awkward. I guess what we need to do is put a block there. It's a bit odd, like I'm trying to retrofit onto your existing design and it doesn't necessarily work. Let me just try this out. And just, try putting an overhang on your roof like this. That's a big overhang. Maybe that's a bit too much. Might be a little bit too much. What if we remove those? Doesn't really work, does it? This needs to be well, that might be a little bit much. But these are awkward shapes. It's not like it's partly not entirely your fault because you're trying to put a roof onto a slightly rounded shape. I still don't think this is a big problem. This looks okay to me, you know what I mean? Could it be better? Possibly. But I mean, do you really want to have this shape? Can you not? Like if you look, Minecraft is squares. If you square things off, it's a lot easier. I mean, let's just say it like that. Because Minecraft is all squares, if you make squares, it's easier. So if you just square that off, that's easy. If you square the staircase off, it's gonna be easier. Yeah, I don't see. I'm not sure what you mean by problem with the roofs. All right, I'm gonna stop talking there. And this is all right. This has been interesting. This has been interesting. I think. Hmm. I feel like in fact, your earlier houses seem more interesting. I don't know if it's because you spent more time on them. Like some of the later houses, it sounds like you kind of started them and then you abandoned them not too long afterwards. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe you're just doing the same thing over and over again. It doesn't feel interesting anymore. But the thing is, like, the more you think about it, the more time you spend on something, the more interesting it's gonna be. And if you need to do something different in order to keep yourself interested, then just find something different to do. Like the modern house, for example, just find a different style. Just pick a different style. Maybe like get a book of world architecture, or go to the internet and just look up world architecture. Just look up architecture from different parts of the world, and then just try a different style. Just pick a picture, try a different style, and then see how it goes. And like your ideas, you can only get out what you put in. So to have good ideas, you need to look at more ideas, right? Like your brain, when you're born, your brain is just empty. When it's not entirely empty, but mostly empty. And then the more you learn, the more ideas you have that you can come back out again with. So I do encourage that. All right, I'm gonna stop rambling and interesting builds. I'll see you guys in future videos. So if you're interested and if you want to listen to me ramble about your work, feel free to send me your builds and explain and ask questions and all that, and then I'll respond. I'll see you guys.